it can easily be affected by the wind. So you're probably going to see a lot more shorter, crisper passes coming from these teams because they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it can take away the long breakout clear. Here's Wortman taking the ball all the way up into the offensive zone. His pass, though, gets away from Mike Burke. Ryan Seville comes out really high to get it, but DeBrone strips, and Mike Burke is right there to get it. And a big hit by Fitzgerald. And then the tap over to DeBrone, but it bounces off his foot and is scooped up by LeBlanc.
Nice job there by LeBlanc to get that ball back. It looked like Brock might have been able to take a big advantage of that push.
Slade knocks it free from LeBlanc, but he gets it back. There's a pretty long pass, but you can see he uses the one hopper, didn't get it up too much into the wind. And in that case, going from right to left, a bit of a tailwind. We've just seen an umbrella below us pop inside out, so the wind seems to be picking up as we go this afternoon.
The one good thing about this wind, though, sort of when it's saying going north-south on the field instead of east-west, as Knight buries one there and gets Guelph back within one goal. Curtis Knight, always someone you have to watch out for.
We've already seen this a few times this weekend. He just slides down the wide slot and rips home the shot as soon as the ball hits his stick.
Oh, Knight, we're saying very dangerous. Couple goals already tonight. Sort of the same way when he gets down in that alley and gets just half a second's all he needs to get that shot off.
There's a shot of a flag out on a pole around the field, and you can see just how hard that wind is blowing. Great shot by our production crew. Nick Bodwin comes up with the ball. Scott Johnston on him, turns him back. Bodwin will give it up and head off the field. Stahl fakes the pass but holds on to it. Now he's going to come over to Davidson. Brock moving the ball around the outside. Stahl takes it.
Brock again, just what we saw in that first half. When they're even up 6-on-6 in that offensive zone, they're just going to slow it down, do what they want to do, but they still do attack the net pretty hard. And but they wait for the opportunities where they can get the more high percentage shots off.
Comes over to Nick Ribka. Ribka watched by Holland. He's going to turn back, heads up to Vredenberg. And our effects mics are picking up this wind. It's really getting strong. And Vredenberg, watched by Blaze McCullough.
As a lot of umbrellas you're seeing in the crowd, just people having a hard time holding on to them as they keep popping in and out.
Vredenberg pops out from behind the net, gets a shot. That's turned aside by Lalani. Davidson is going to, we've had one umbrella just absolutely blown up by the wind, like spokes popping free of the material, and people are starting to wonder whether they're going to be able to keep them open as Vredenberg has the ball behind the net. Vredenberg, watched by McCullough, gets by him, going to the net, trying to get the pass, but he can't get it from Slade. Slade has the ball stripped from him.
An absolute gorgeous trail check there by LeBlanc, just waiting for that stick to pop out and stripping.
Possession holding call, and Brock gets the ball back. Things slowing down a little bit. Brock taking their time again. They've had some long possessions this game.
We saw it very early in the game. Guelph would win on that long possession, but ever since then, basically it's been Brock holding on the ball for long periods of time.
Stahl with the pass out. It looked like it was headed for Nick Ribka, but Greg Davidson was able to reach back and get it and get a shot off. And went wide, though. Again, Davidson not having a big impact in the game so far after having 4 goals a game this season, 47 goals in the 12 games that he played for the Brock Badgers.
And we were saying before, we thinking maybe he wanted to try to prove something as he was left off the All-Canadian and even the honorable mention list this year.
Behind the back shot by Stahl. That one goes wild, well over the net. Let's go quickly down to Pat Gregoire on the field.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Greg Davidson not really getting too involved in the offense. It's tough. He's a stack guy. He comes in for most of his offense in in that stack in the middle, and if the dodge is from up top, if those guys in the middle are not sliding away from him, it's tough for him to get that ball. And Guelph's doing a really good job clamping down on sticks when those passes do come in. Back to you guys.
Yeah, great point, Pat Gregoire, and also Nicholas Wortman. We've seen him just sticking with Davidson all day. You can see him right on top of the slot there. Davidson number 11. Wherever he is, you'll see Nicholas Wortman number 17. And big responsibility for Wortman, and he has been doing a tremendous job.
Yeah, absolutely great because Wortman is saying another player left off of an All-Canadian honorable mention, and when they have an All-Canadian and an honorable mention defender on their team, so big responsibility they're going to put on him today.
Right, David Nedelko, their All-Canadian, and Christian LeBlanc, and honorable mention. Here comes Radenberg trying to come out. He's ridden to the ground by Blaise McCullough. LeBlanc trying to come up with the ball. Can't. It bounces free. Nice job by Davis to reach out and grab it just before the Guelph defender could get his pole to it. That was Mike Hennessy trying to grab it. Brock again with possession.
Oh, Blaise McCullough, parents picking a great name there, in my opinion, on that first one.
You like that one?
But though they were saying as a kid, they were assuming that he was going to be fast.
Ball goes behind the net. Brandon Stahl taking it. He's watched by Nedelko. Pass up top. High, hard shot by Travis Arch, and he celebrates that one hitting the back of the net.
That shot looked like it almost had eyes to it. Going high to high, goalie able to probably see it most of the way, but that found its way right to the top corner. As you can see down at below, Lalani getting a couple taps to a couple of his teammates, maybe saying, yeah, that one may be a little on me, as he just goes top shelf from quite a big distance out.
And he just had lots of space. Pat Gregoire, what are you seeing on the field?
Long offensive possession by Brock there. Really killed the momentum that Guelph was picking up. And bench there, both coaches for Brock are saying, hold on to the ball, hold on to it, take your time, find those offensive chances when they come and take them and capitalize on them. And that's exactly what Brock did, and that's exactly what's going to happen if they want to pick up a W here today and head on to the Baggataway Cup Finals. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Brock definitely taking advantage of the opportunities they're getting. They are burying a lot of the shots because they are being so patient and taking very high percentage shots, although Arch's shot there was from quite a ways out, actually not as high percentage a shot as some of them, and he still managed to make it count.
Yeah, coming from that far of an angle, normally something you wouldn't do, but he had a lot of time and space and felt that he could get that in the top shelf, and he proved himself right.
Olbicus to Corbett. He gives it over to Curtis Knight. Knight trying to drive by DeBrone. He's going to get a shot. That one goes wide. Ryan Serville will be closest to the sideline, and he'll get the ball. Picks up one off the back line.
That's been a play we've seen Knight do time and time again, especially in this game today, driving down that far side and trying to rip a shot, and has been successful on a few already.
Serville goes behind the net. Mike Burke trying to get free of his man. It's Connor McGee covering him. Burke will throw it up top to Knight. He looks at Corbett, now passes it over to him.
Well, it just seems they want to move it around and get things going, as they haven't touched the ball, these attackmen, in quite a long time, as Brock held it on for very long offensive possessions.
I was going to say the Guelph attack guys probably just want to warm up a bit because you're standing around. It can get pretty cold out there. I mean, you get warm. You don't want to be wearing too many clothes. Guelph gets the ball back after it was popped free. Nice job by the Brock defenders, but Guelph gets it back. And there's DeBrone containing Knight a little bit too much. He's going to get a penalty. Knight still hanging on to the ball, and another one coming. Looks like DeBrone may have them both. 2 flags are down. The refs are taking a timeout. The clock has stopped while they sort this out. DeBrone is heading over to the penalty area.
As you can see, when Knight was driving down that alley, his head just kept popping up and up as those Brock defenders kept getting their stick right in. We're going to get to see on the replay here this first call. You can see just getting in, reaching over. Boom, head comes up again, and then the goalie as well. Ryan Jones getting his stick in there.
Yeah, Justin Avbar, the backup goalie, goes in as Ryan Jones takes a penalty. So Avbar has to go in with no warm-up since pregame. And a great opportunity for Guelph with a 6-on-4 and a cold goalie in the net.
That's one of the cruel things in field lacrosse. As a goaltender, if you take a penalty, you have to sit in the box for it, not somebody else comes and do it.
DeBrone's penalty is 30 seconds. Ryan Jones's is 1 minute. So lots of time for Guelph to work with if they can get the first one. Expect them to take a timeout and try and conserve that power play time. See if they can tie this up at 9. They come over to Mike Burke. He's going to go down to Serville. Serville on the crease tonight. That one's stopped. Nice job by Avbar to make a save on the first shot that he faces.
And you see Brock getting ready to release that first penalty on the far sidelines.
Burke over tonight. The first one is released. Burke down to Serville. He's going to score on Avbar. And Avbar just had no chance on that one. It's the perfect passing play from Burke tonight down to Serville. Hard fake, then just tucks it in the far side.
Ryan Serville all the time in the world in front of that net there. Made the goalie bite as he was going short side and just faked it around and go to the far side and bring Guelph now within 1 goal. Seems like Guelph didn't want to take the time out there, and they're just getting right into the face-off really quickly.
So Burke down to Knight, and actually back to Burke, and then over to Serville. You can hear, we can hear the bench saying, "Tell him to come, tell him to come." They want to get Avbar off to the bench, get Ryan Jones in. His penalty is over now, so he heads down to the bench. And they shoot and score and tie it up at even strength, but Mike Burke still gets it. Now Brock will take a timeout.
A nice goal there by Burke. So Guelph taking advantage of that Ryan Jones penalty, scoring 2 goals on the backup goalie, Avbar. Big push there. As we were saying, it's sort of been a tale of 2 games. 6-on-6, it's all Brock Badgers, but they're letting these Guelph Gryphons in by taking some of these penalties.
Guelph's we're going to take a quick look at the replay.
Just going to see Burke drive, spinning back, changing his plane, and just getting enough room to get that shot off.
That's a nice shot with some decent defense by Drew Barfa. Quickly down to Pat Gregoire on the field.
Yeah, guys, you guys already mentioned it a little bit. That's a huge power play for the Gryphons there. Not only taking out a strong defensive player in Mark DeBrone, but also taking out their starting goalie. Ryan Jones has been arguably one of their best players. Justin Avbar going in there, a freshman, first playoffs for him, and also he's been freezing cold on the bench. You could really tell that he was not prepared to get in there. Guelph got to take advantage of this great play, great call by Justin Kennedy, calling the timeout, but Guelph doing a great job capitalizing on that. And like we mentioned, it's been a big-time story. Power plays, man-up opportunities for Guelph. They have capitalized and done well. Back to you guys.
There you see the graphic for the players of the game. Thanks for that, Pat. Good points. And let us know who you think should be the players of the game. Tweet us at JVI Video. Use the hashtags BROPOG and GUEPOG. BROPOG. GUEPOG. I am enjoying those hashtags, I got to tell you.
As you were saying, again, though, with that goalie Avbar, in situations like that, just subbing in, like you're saying, freezing cold, most times if a backup goalie would come into the game for an injury or something like that, they give him a little bit of time, take a couple shots, warm up. But in a penalty situation like that, there's no forgiveness, and he has to go right in.
Ball popping loose. We're going to see what the call is. It's going to be Brock possession. Liam Corbett doesn't like the call, but it's going to be the Badgers ball. John Fitzgerald will start with it. No, he's going to leave it now for Gage Board. Play is blown in. We're back underway.
And as you saw there, actually, all the 3 Brock defenders in the Guelph attackmen having to stay behind that the 35-yard line, as the referee hadn't called possession yet when they gave that ball up, so it gave Brock a completely free clear.
Slade with the ball. Gets it out to the top. Got Mitch Robertson with the ball now. They moved it around. There's Brandon Stahl. Stahl's going to throw it up top to Gage Board. Gage Board watched by Mullen. Back down to Slade. And in the slot, once again, Greg Davidson watched very closely by Nicholas Wortman, so Gage Board is going to come out and try and do it himself. Looked like he might have a shot there, but he elected to pull it down and give it back to Slade. Brock again being very patient, waiting for clear-cut opportunities to present themselves. Nedelko covering his man. That pass flies over the back. It's not going to get to the line. So that'll give time for Greg Davidson to hustle over and get it, and Wortman goes all the way out to the sideline to stay with him.
Oh, great hustle by Davidson there to make sure to keep that inbounds and not turn that ball back over to the Gryphons.
I'll tell you, the offensive guys tend to get the love and tend to get the player of the game honors, but I'm seriously considering Nicholas Wortman just for the defensive work he's done today.
Absolute great job tonight watching Davidson. You're saying 4 goals a game in the regular season, and nothing so far tonight.
Robertson with the ball. Haven't seen a whole lot of him as he's coming out to give them for some fresh legs. Tries to get by Blaze McCullough. Help from Wortman on the slide, leaving Davidson for a second, and then McCullough picks him up, and Mike Hennessy comes up with the ball. He's going to lob it over. That's one where the wind may have affected it. Gets away from Wortman, but he comes up with it. Great job by Wortman. Now he's running up. He's going to get caught by Slade, and Slade knocks it out. Nice work by Slade to get the ball back for the Brock Badgers.
Oh, absolutely. That was great work there. Slade knocking that loose. Wortman just hanging his stick out a little bit too far, and Slade get out there. As you're saying, maybe Wortman possibly being player of the game, and if that defensive players all around always recognize when that kind of thing happens, is a big accomplishment for someone like that.
Of course, Curtis Knight in consideration as well, having a very strong game once again. On the other side, I think we're looking at Mark DeBrone. We got a tweet, certainly having a good game, and Kyle Davis scoring some goals. Both guys having great games. Here's Vredenberg, watched by McCullough. He goes down but gets back up before McCullough can get on him.
There's another player who's also been having a great game so far tonight, coming up from behind the net there.
Vredenberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stahl has it up top. Again, that ball seemed to kind of take off a little bit. It was caught by Travis Arch, but this wind wreaking a little havoc on those cross-field passes that aren't short. Slade, far side to Davis.
And this is Canadian Field Lacrosse. It seems though as the season goes on, the weather gets worse and worse. So teams aren't always prepared to play in this wet and rainy and windy type of days. It's not like that when the regular season goes on in September and October.
Stahl holds on to it for a while, tries to make the pass against the grain to Davidson and gets away from him. A frustrating afternoon for Greg Davidson as the ball is picked up by Michael Lalani, who gives it off to LeBlanc. LeBlanc with the pass over on the far side.
Lots of room to run, but finally met by a lot of Badgers right by the bench.
And that's just a mistake by Calvin Holland to run into 4 white jerseys before he gives the ball up. But the Guelph luckily enough to get it back. Jordan Critch helping him out. He'll go back up to Curtis Knight. 9-9 as we're into the final 2 minutes of this third quarter. What a battle this is. It has been a great weekend of lacrosse here at the Baggataway Cup Championship. Mike Burke thinking about a shot, goes to Serville. He's immediately picked up by Parker Bale.
And one thing I seem to start noticing, wherever Curtis Knight goes, his defender watches him completely, all the way, no matter if he goes all the way up to the top. That last play he was able to slip by, but Brock, good job sliding and recovering on that Curtis Knight move.
Yeah, Mark DeBrone staying, mirroring. You can see he's right there, a couple of yards away from Knight as Knight catches the ball, not letting him get too much space. The problem, of course, when you're up that aggressively is Knight can run by you.
And Brock putting a lot of responsibility on DeBrone. Short stick playing against Knight. Most teams would use their long stick midi against him, but Brock seems to be comfortable running short stick against it.
Mike Burke with some moves. Still hanging on to the ball.
Under a minute left to play now in this third quarter. Tied all up, so a very exciting game. What we were expecting to see out of these two teams.
Again, we will keep the clock running on the screen. It's an approximate time, but it is pretty close. Curtis Knight, again watched by DeBrone. Looks like Guelph's taking their time, maybe setting up for a last shot. Stall warning in effect, so they're going to move the ball in. Mike Burke gets it. Knight has to come inside the 35 to get the pass and does so. DeBrone on him.
That was very close when Knight crossing the 35 there.
There's a shot again, cross-handed by Knight, and that one handled by Ryan Jones. Ball is down, but it's picked up by Liam Corbett. Guelph gets the ball back. Serville wants the ball, but they're going to go with the pass out to the slot, and Burke just couldn't take it. 10 seconds left. They get it back. Liam Corbett gets it. He's going to fire from outside, stopped by Jones, and he can actually just stand in his crease for the last 4 seconds of this quarter.
Again, Jones using his leg there on that save, not using the stick. Going to be all bruised up, but as we were saying, if they end up winning this championship, well worth it.
What a quarter of play. Guelph comes back into it. It's tied up 9-9. It is basically whoever wins the fourth quarter wins this semifinal and goes off to the Baggataway Cup championship game.
Absolute wonderful rematch that we saw again last year, 12-4. 12-9. 13-9
yeah.
for the Guelph Gryphons over the Brock Badgers. And we're seeing a great game again here today. So we're going to take a break heading into the fourth quarter. I'm Malcolm Westhaver, Stephen Stamp, and Pat Gregoire. Stay tuned for more CULFA Baggataway Cup action.
Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2014 Baggataway Cup. That wind is blowing hard. The rain has come back for the fourth quarter. It is pretty miserable out there, but these players not minding too much as Nedelko comes up with the ball off the faceoff. Guelph will get the first possession, but some pressure, but it's picked up by Liam Corbett, his second straight possession recovery. And it is 9-9 as we start this fourth quarter between the Guelph Gryphons and the Brock Badgers in the Baggataway Cup semifinals. Interesting note, we're just looking at the stats from the game. Curtis Knight with 3 goals, Mark DeBrone with a couple, and Kyle Davis with 2 each for Brock. But Brock has taken a number of penalties. Guelph's been scoring on the power play. Guelph has not taken a time-served penalty this game.
Absolutely. That's unheard of normally in games, seeing one team take so many and the other team. But when you really thought about it for a second, though, I haven't seen a play that Guelph that sort of deserved a penalty call out there, playing a very clean game out there on the field today.
Jordan Critch circles around behind the net, throws it over to Ulbicus. Curtis Knight again driving down the slot. Passes it to Burke. Knight draws DeBrone with him, and Burke drops down sidearm and rips it home.
Oh, absolute gorgeous goal by Burke. You cannot leave someone like that wide open. He can bury. Had a couple already tonight, and he was wide open in the middle there, and just able to, you're saying, just rip that sidearm. We're going to see this drive down Knight, drawing defender over, getting the double team. Burke for a second there looked like, didn't even know that pass was going to come, but was able to react just in time, catch it, and get that off.
Burke looked like he was going to step over and set a pick on Connor McGee. McGee actually slid over towards Knight to help out, and Burke just stepped back to create some space for himself. And there's Scott Johnston winning a big face-off for the Guelph Gryphons.
Oh, he's had a great job tonight on the draw, especially against the All-Canadian coming out of the Western Division in Bowdoin for the Brock Badgers.
Burke with the ball once again. What an impact he's having on this club. He's going to go behind the net to Critch.
As you were saying earlier, this Guelph Griffin team seems to be just built for this Baggataway Cup tournament. Every year, last 2 years, coming in as the third seeds, but able to go all the way last year. And right now, in the lead in this semifinal and able to move on tomorrow to the championship if they can keep it going.
10-9, Guelph has pulled back out in front, and they're taking their time on this possession.
very close to an offside call there, as Kyle Davis for the Brock Badgers was in the offensive zone. Only 2 guys back for Brock at the time. Luckily for them, the referee did not notice that and throw his flag.
DeBrone picks that pass off in the middle, right in the slot, runs it down the field. He's watched by Olbicus, who comes all the way back. Now DeBrone will head off after giving it off to Brandon Slade, and Brock has taken over possession. There's the pass to Fitzgerald. He was thinking shot, but he makes the pass instead. Good idea. The pass over to Davis, who buries it. And John Fitzgerald, he's another guy we got to think about. What a game this kid's having. Thought shot, passed it to Davis. Davis puts in his third of the game.
On definitely great patience there. Many times if a long pole gets an opportunity that open in the middle, they're going to take that shot. But he realized that the better play was to pass it off to Davis, and he goes post to post on this goal. And see, like, lots of opportunity. Nope, decides to pass, and a post to post. We're going to set it down to Pat Gregoire on the field.
Yeah, guys, just listening to the Guelph Gryphons bench right now. They're stressing, hey, guys, let's not have to force this ball. We have the lead, or had the lead, and we don't have to. And there you go. They just go up right here. I'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, Burke scoring on the shot, just coming down the slot and fires it. Another goal for Mike Burke. Again, a huge impact for him. And Brock's last goal did come when a pass was forced by Guelph into the slot. That was the one picked off by DeBrone, which resulted in that possession that Brock scored off. But Guelph gets it right back and takes the lead here.
Burke having huge last 2 goals for the Gryphons, and just seeing get lots of space, momentum, and be able to rip that. Right at the end of the play, too, a flag thrown on the field against the Brock Badgers. So a huge break for the Gryphons, as they're going to get the goal and a power play here.
Every time Brock's scoring, it seems like Guelph is able to respond now. Another battle for the face-off possession is so important at this stage in the game. Ball still down on the ground. Here they are fighting for it. Ball picked up by Johnston. They were going to call a possession foul anyway, but Johnston comes up with it, so they play on, and the Gryphons go into the offensive set. I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can on the monitor, but the rain is coming down pretty hard.
Definitely going to affect some of these, the bags and some of these sticks at points. Rain can get it to dry out, so you may see a illegal stick call at some point from one of these coaches with the weather continuing to get worse.
See if they check it out to see if they're able to get something. That ball goes out the back. Liam Corbett will get the possession started again. Critch up top tonight. Penalty is released, so we are back to even strength once the player gets back down here. They're trying to take advantage of Burke with the quick stick, just misses. Seville's going to just let that one roll out of bounds to avoid the risk of it bouncing off and sticking out where it would be a turnover. And Guelph maintains possession with a 1-goal lead.
Burke's been all over the place in this 4th quarter here for the Gryphons.
He has. There's a shot again by Burke. That one's stopped by Ryan Jones. Critch with a ride on Mark DeBrone, so Jones is going to come near side to Connor McGee. He's got lots of space to run it up. Corbett's going to have to take either him or the other long pole, and he comes to pressure him, but they actually pass it up to Kyle Davis. Davis will flip it over to Travis Arch.
3rd straight game of this Baggataway Cup that's been a barn burner, nail all the way right down to the end. It seems like it's going to go. Yesterday, Guelph winning, just being able to get by the Gators. It was 13-9, but for a while, very tight game. And then, of course, that overtime thriller, Western and Queens. They've given us some great games in the last 2 years.
And, of course, another tight one here today. Brock slowing things down a little bit. Brandon Slade behind the net, taking his time. Watched by LeBlanc, sorry. Comes out to Arch. He's going to head up high to reset things. Now he starts to drive in, gets a double pick, throws it down low to Slade. Davidson clears space, but Slade goes in behind. There's a shot and a goal. Brandon Slade. I'll tell you, Greg Davidson's having a quiet day, as we've talked about, not too much, but he made a big play there just to draw his defender away from the space that opened up room for Brandon Slade to put that one in.
Great work, as you're saying there, Davidson. we're trying to get his. If you can't get your name on the score sheet, you got to try to find other ways to get involved, and that's a great way to do it. Just making little picks, getting guys open, and you're going to see a nice cut from behind the net, just to get some space and get that shot off before the defender's stick able to get back down. And that was against the All-Canadian honorable mention, LeBlanc.
11-11. We're all tied up with 12 minutes to go here. Fitzgerald again comes up with the ball.
Great job so far tonight, especially coming off that wing on the face-offs.
Always battling in there. Davidson gives it off to Slade. Stahl trotting over. Again, a very methodical approach by these Badgers, but they've got 11 goals. It's certainly working out for them. Here comes Kyle Davis.
Brock
Slade
again
covered.
just on a long possession here. Just going to try to hold like they've done most of the game.
Some defensive pressure by Guelph, not making it easy for the Badgers to pass the ball, so they're just very patiently waiting out. They'll get some movement, get everybody up high. They got 5 players up above the crease area, and just Travis Arch on his own behind the net. He's going to be watched one-on-one there by Luke Stockton. He comes all the way up to the top, and now they're just going to invert things a little bit and slide some people down into the slot. Here's a drive by Vredenberg. He scores off the shaft of the Lonnie's stick, and Vredenberg puts one home. What a game he's having for them. He scores another big goal, making it 12-11 for the Badgers.
And right after that goal, I looked right at Lalani. He looked right down at his shaft. Not happy with that one at all. Definitely wanting to have that back. That's one of the goalies' least favorite things when they get a piece of it and it still ends up in the back of their net. As you're going to see this great move to get open, switch hands, and just tipped off the shaft and goes top shelf. Very close to being a save, but just not enough.
Nice quickness. That first step by Vredenberg gets him some space. Great face-off in by Nico Baudouin. He's trying to hold on to the ball. Tries to make the pass over to Gage Board, but doesn't get it there. Scott Johnston picks it up, gives it to Curtis Knight. And Johnston is flattened. The Guelph bench wants a penalty, and it looks like they're getting one, as Johnston was flattened away from the ball.
Just that was an undisciplined penalty on that point. Brock wants to win. They have to stay out of the box, and that's not the way to do it.
Ryan Serville turned aside from Ryan Jones, and there are some penalties that you're going to take just out of the natural course of play. And like you said, not a great one to take in this situation. Here we're going to see it. Just a late hit there from behind. Mark DeBrone for 30 seconds, and DeBrone's taken a couple of penalties that have really put his team in a tough situation. We'll see if Guelph can take advantage and tie this game back up.
Yeah, that hit definitely unnecessary. Pass was gone and right on the numbers.
Liam Corbett passes it down low. Critch back up to Corbett. Serville was ready to fire, but I think a stick may have gotten on that one and deflected it. Parker Bale covering Serville, just shoves him to the ground. Guelph gets the ball as it popped out right to Ulbicus. Mike Burke goes behind the net. Curtis Knight goes back to him. See if Burke can continue his hot hand. DeBrone coming back out. He's in the play now, so we're back to even strength. Liam Corbett, watched by McGee. Strip attempt there. Doesn't work. Oh, switching hands was Liam Corbett. Almost scored a cheeky little goal, but it rolls out the other side, and then he cuts through the crease, so it's going to be Brock possession. Ryan Jones takes the ball, and the Badgers dodge a bullet as they kill that penalty.
Yeah, good job by the Badgers. Really on the power play, no real opportunity for the Guelph Gryphons. Something that we haven't seen when they've been on the power plays. They've been very deadly so far tonight.
Let's go down to Pat Gregoire in the field for a second.
Yeah, guys, Brock really stressing right now on the sidelines. Let's start getting our possessions back. Last few possessions that they've had, they've really tried to push the tempo, trying to get some goals, but now they've got the 1-goal lead. They're going to want to try to sit on the ball a little more, maybe a little more of the offense that we saw in the first half, where yes, they do attack the cage, but they also make sure that these possessions are well held and they're taking high percentage shots. Back to you guys.
Well, and that's what's been working for them throughout the game, whether they've been ahead or behind. It's been very effective for them when they've been patient, when they've taken the time to get those high percentage shots. So it makes sense now, especially with 7.5 minutes to go and a 1-goal lead, that they continue to do the same. Comes Kyle Davis. We understand that the feed is a little choppy. We're still on, but we appreciate you being with us. The weather is pretty bad, maybe affecting the internet signal. There's Brandon Stahl swinging around the back, steps into the crease though, and it's going to be Guelph possession with 7 minutes to go.
Guelph trying to push it down by a goal. Maybe hoping for another Brock penalty out there in the field, as they've been capitalizing all the time. But as we were saying before, still sort of in awe that Guelph is not taking a single timed penalty yet today.
Lonnie takes that pass back to the keeper. He's going to pass it over to Wortman. Wortman watched by DeBrone. He's going to go back to his keeper. Lalani, not a guy that we see get up and get involved in the clear up the field a whole lot, and he retreats immediately to his crease after getting that ball to Corbett. Corbett going out of bounds, flings it back in. Curtis Knight picks it up, but it's knocked free. DeBrone tries to grab it. Looks like it's going to be Knight, the first one to get it. That's a big possession for the Guelph Gryphons.
Goalie Ryan Jones thought about running for it, but saw Knight there and retreated right back to his net.
I think that would have been a fatal mistake. Guelph with the ball, 6 minutes to play. They need 1 goal. Mike Burke has been their hot hand in the second half. He is in the high slot. Let's see if they try and work it to him. They're taking their time now. No rush, no panic for these Gryphons. They do not panic. They have a very high panic threshold. Jordan Critch will bring it out to Corbett. He's watched by Travis Arch, the midfielder. Brett Olbicus driving down, drawing the defenders, passes out to Burke on his offside. He's going to drive in and try a shot between the legs, but Jones brings his feet together and stops it. The rebound picked up and fired right away by Liam Corbin. There's another save.
That shot there from Burke coming in a little bit hard as he was unwilling to switch hands and take that shot to get the better angle. They were saying how Guelph they're not going to panic out here. We were saying yesterday how pretty much every person on this roster on this Guelph team has won this national championship before, just winning it last year. So knowing how to win means a lot in the end to a team.
Timeout by Brock. 4:45 to play. Last chance for you to give us your thoughts on who should please be the player of the game for each team. Tweet us at JVI Video. Use those hashtags BROPOG and GUEPOG, BROPOG and GWAPOG. And certainly a lot of candidates for both teams.
It could be anybody, anywhere at the beginning. We were thinking second half a few guys, and now as this gone on, it's changed it. Even you think of last night's game where we had the Western Queens one. I think we changed our 3 stars maybe 4 or 5 times in the way that ended. Just kept scratching names out, and that's the way it goes.
There's Burke taking the shot. The big save by Ryan Jones. I'll tell you, he's given up 11 goals, but he could be a candidate for that honor. He's made some huge saves for them. Certainly Kyle Davis with a bunch of goals. He's been a factor. Mark DeBrone may have taken himself into consideration with some of the penalties taken, I think, but he's had a strong game from in many ways. On the other side, certainly Mike Burke with all those goals, Curtis Knight with a hat trick, and his usual strong play all over the field. And we're still thinking Nicholas Wortman, the defender, has done such a tremendous job for them on their own end.
Oh, absolutely shutting down Greg Davidson, this guy who's scoring 4 goals a game in the regular season. You expect at least 1 or 2 out of him, but Wortman's done a great job so far to shut him down.
4:46 to play. Brandon Stahl with the ball. He's another guy who's had a very strong game, as one of our Twitter followers has mentioned, helping with the possession offense. The ball is in his stick a lot. Certainly a guy who could be considered for that honor. Now Davidson with the ball, throws it across.
With a 1-goal lead in this time amount of game left, definitely I could see these referees calling out the stall on it. They have not been afraid this weekend to bring it out at all.
Yeah, Gage Borg staying out high. Curtis Knight on him, trying to get some pressure on him. Knocks it free, comes up with the possession. Great play by Curtis Knight. That is the kind of thing that makes such a difference for the teams that Curtis Knight plays for.
Offense and defense, not too many midfielders can go both ways and be so effective on both sides of the ball, and he is one of the most deadly guys on either end.
Mark DeBrone just made a great stick check on Mike Burke, who's absolutely winding up to let one fly. Burke's going to scoop up that loose ball, though, as it bounces away from Brock. Burke suddenly gets possession.
That pass from the Badgers, just a little bit too low for them to scoop it up, and that double team came quickly from the Guelph Gryphons to get that ball back.
Davidson just unable to control the ball as it bounced off that wet turf.
Remember, the final 3 minutes of the game are stop time. And a beautiful goal there.
Ties it up on his offside. We saw him do this yesterday at a crucial point in the game where he'd been fairly quiet during the day, then went down and scored a big goal, and he ties it up, and we are into the final 3 minutes where it will be stop time.
Hobicus always seems to show up. Again, his name doesn't around. All of a sudden, fourth quarter last year too, same kind of things. He just pops out and puts his team on his back. Beautiful goal there as he had a defender draped on top of him to get that shot off.
Johnston, Bodwin, crucial face-off here. Bodwin clamped down. Johnston trying to work it free. They're still fighting hard. Late in the game, those shoulders and arms have to be tired, but they work, and it is Calvin Holland coming out with the ball. He's a guy who doesn't play a lot of minutes, but makes a big play here to get the Guelph Gryphons possession as we are down into the final 2.5 minutes of this game.
As you were saying there, a few guys may be getting tired or something like that, but in a game like this, so tight, adrenaline starts to take over for these guys, and they'll go until that final whistle blows. They got a long break until next September when the season restarts again to rest.
Burke with the ball now. Guelph taking their time. They go to Jordan Critch behind the net. Ryan Serville is back there as well, but they go to Burke and back up top to Knight over to Ulbicus, who just scored the tying goal. He's trying to drive down, takes another shot, scores again. Brett Ulbicus. What a goal. With 2:06 to play in the game, the Guelph Gryphons have gone ahead.
Ulbicus making his own case now late in the game for player of the game, as he absolutely drives wide. Very similar goal as the last one. Just getting his stick on the outside there, just getting it away from defender. That one, the slide coming a little too late, and he's able to rip that shot past the goaltender. And now the Guelph Gryphons have taken the lead on an even strength goal.
Nick Bodwin comes up with the face-off. He's going to run down, see if he can Jeff Snyder it, but he loses the ball. Comes out to Davis. Oh, what a save by Michael Lalani. He's had a few where he's shaking his head after they've gone in, but no question he makes a huge save on Kyle Davis there, who's been the big shooter for the Brock Badgers.
Timing is absolutely everything in this game. As you're going to see Brock, nice drive underneath. Great defense there, though. So we're getting the call. Only a minute 43 left in the game. As you say, the clock on our screen is very close, but it is not the actual official game clock. So about 10 seconds off as we're getting the reports from the sidelines.
Brock holding on to the ball, being patient, not rushing themselves. They recognize they might not have too many chances left. There's the cut and the shot. Big save on Slade by Michael Lalani. It'll come back out to Travis Arch, giving the Badgers another chance, but a big couple of saves. The biggest of the game by Michael Lalani.
Showing up up at the time when he's needed by his team.
Brandon Stahl swinging around. It's another save by Lalani. Some hard work on defense there by Christian LeBlanc, but Stahl still able to get the shot off. Lalani with another save. Davis is behind the net. Play whistled back in. Stahl taking his time. Brock, a lot of player movement, a lot of cuts, but Guelph just playing really tight defense. Again, Nicholas Wortman with close defense. There's a shot, and it's Lalani who zips back after Stahl's shot went wide. Lalani gets back to earn possession for Guelph with 40 seconds to play.
And you're going to see how these Badgers are going to have to press really hard. They're going to want this ball back. Smart play by Lalani there to not actually go back into his crease when that pass came to him, because he still has the option to go back and do it again.
Ryan Jones, the Brock goalie, is up near midfield covering a player, so the Badgers can put some extra pressure on. There's a pass. What a catch by Curtis Knight. And Guelph takes a timeout immediately that gets into the stick of Curtis Knight. That is a huge play because that pass, a little desperation. And Pat Gregoire, are you saying, how long are you saying there is left?
21 seconds. Not too much time for the Brock Badgers, not only to get the ball back, but also score a goal. So it's going to be interesting to see how much pressure they really put out. I'm going to assume that the goaltender will be out of the cage as well. Ryan Jones is going to be putting out pressure. So this is a key situation. 21 seconds left, guys. It's 21 seconds left.
21 seconds left on the clock. There are the teams. There's Brock over gathering, trying to figure out what they're going to do as Guelph has possession. And what a comeback. A couple of huge goals by Brett Ulbicus just when his team needed him most.
Him and the goaltender, Michael Lalani, just putting their team on their back when they need it the most. And you're going to see here a nice Lalani save as he gets his toe out and kicks that away. Guelph, though, definitely going to throw out the six best, the guys who can control the ball on their team right now. They want guys that can pass and catch and not lose, and maybe not a goal scorer out there, but somebody who can hold on to that and rag out this last 21 seconds. You're definitely going to see Brock probably initiate that double team right away.
If you're Guelph, do you change someone, though, or do you just keep – I think they're going with the same guys they've had out there, Liam Corbett, and Curtis Knight, Ryan Serville, Brett Ulbicus. The same guys who have been playing all game and done such a good job for them. Mike Burke will start with the ball.
See the double team.
John Fitzgerald on him. Yeah, they're ready to double team him right away with Parker Bale also there. Ryan Jones coming back out onto the field. They didn't even have their goaltender on the field, Brockton, but now they will send Jones out. He's going to cover Ryan Serville. 21 seconds. Play is blown back in. Quick pass by Burke. Oh, what a catch by Knight. He goes to the ground, gets back up. He's driven to the ground. It's going to be a push from behind. And again, Guelph takes a timeout. Curtis Knight with two huge catches on passes to save Guelph's bacon. 16 ticks left on the clock, and Guelph will once again start with possession. There's only 5 seconds wore off in that play.
Oh, absolute great play by Knight, and great recognition from their bench there, seeing that Knight was getting pressured, and maybe with that push could have put him out of bounds, and the referee may have not called the push on the back. So the coaching staff deciding, we're just going to reset, call this timeout, get the ball back in the position we want it to be in, and go from there.
Well, if you have a timeout left, why not use it in that situation? The Brock players coming out on the field.
Guelph trying to punch their ticket back into the Baggataway Cup Championship, as they are the defending champs right now. The double team again already completely initiated, as Burke will get the ball, as Guelph's deciding that's where they want the ball to be in his hands to end this game.
Number 8, Fitzgerald. Number 12, Bale. This time Burke's going to run with the ball. He'll get away from Bale. Runs around behind the net. Streaks out. Looks like he's going to come out front. Turns back. He's just running away. Nothing they can do. Stall warning is on. It's going to be immaterial, as this game is going to end with the ball in the possession of the Guelph Gryphons, who move on to the Baggataway Championship. And you can see the Brock players hitting the turf in disbelief after they had a late lead. But 2 goals by Brett Ulbicus make the difference for the Guelph Gryphons.
And again, Guelph Gryphons are going to get a chance to defend their national championship and send the top seed in the Western Conference, the Brock Badgers, home. Like, looking at Guelph coming in as a number 3 seed here, statistically you'd say they probably got the really hard road to get there, but you just have to, we keep saying, you make it to this tournament, you can get there. Some huge saves, though, by Michael Lalani at the end of that game to keep the Guelph Gryphons in this.
The exact same score as Guelph beat Brock by at the end of the season, 13-12, when they ended Brock's chances for a perfect season. Brock was 11-0 going into that game, lost that one, and this is the first time they've played since then.
It's been a quite big break, and the Brock Badgers definitely sat themselves. We were saying before, now this is going to make 6 years at a championship, so it's going to go through a whole list of players now that are going to graduate from playing their whole careers, and not going to win a championship, something that is just not heard of in that Brock.
We're going to have an interview. Pat Gregoire, after the handshake line, will be grabbing Ryan Serville to have a chat, but in the meantime, I'm not sure if we're going to our players of the game right now, but just a tremendous team effort by both of these clubs. We will go to the players of the game for each team. For the Guelph Gryphons, Mike Burke, he was absolutely on fire in the second half.
2 huge goals, like to kick off that fourth quarter and got the momentum rolling in the Griffin direction, and they sorted it and looked back from there.
You know, I almost switched at the very last second, thinking about it with Curtis Knight making those 2 catches. He was in consideration for a huge place. We will stay with Mike Burke, with a great game, and Nicholas Workman to get an honorable mention. For the Brock Badgers, our player of the game is Kyle Davis, who had a big game scoring. A great game for Brock. We also talked about Jerome, we talked about Brandon Stahl, a number of players. Kyle Davis really was the cornerstone of their offense.
Big game for him, and but definitely not disappointed though in the turnout. It's always tough when you're the number 1 seed, only getting 1 game here and going home right away.
You see how all the 12 players celebrating with their coaches, their trainers, their non-playing personnel. What a game for these Gryphons. They're going to head off, and some congratulations there for Michael Lalani from Mike Hennessy, who saying, "Big guy, you saved us when we needed it."
As these Gryphons will move on. Game time tomorrow, 1:30 here, championship, and the other team yet to be determined. That other semifinal goes at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Western versus McGill, and we're about to have an interview down on the field.
We actually have Pat Gregoire standing with Ryan Serville and Mike Burke. It's going to be a 3-way gathering down there, and Pat Gregoire, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm alongside Ryan Serville and Mike Burke. Both big impact in both games yesterday and today. First, Mike, you're the midfielders today really were clicking. Yesterday they were as well. What really attributed to the offensive success from up top?
Well, we understand this field game, and against good teams like this, you got to get the defense sliding and moving. That all comes from the midfield, whether that means we're getting in the net or just drawing a slide. We just want to get the defense moving and move it out, see what happens from there. So the midfields help us get going in the sticks of our attack. They finish the ball and move the ball around pretty good.
Now, Ryan, this is your guys' second year. You kind of have started out slow, lower seed, but come playoff time near the end of the year, you guys are playing your best lacrosse. What really attributes to that?
Honestly, it's just throughout the season. Like at the end of the season, we take things a lot more seriously. We just clicking.
Yeah. I get you.
We have a lot of veteran guys on our team, and we know when to show up, and the rest of our team feeds off that. So, as you can see, the offense clicks, the defense, we get some stops and some face-offs, and, we're forced to be reckoned with sometimes. Hopefully tomorrow it's the same thing. We'll see.
All right, that you heard it here, folks. We'll let these guys get back and dry, and congratulations. You guys heading on to the Baggataway Cup. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. A great job there, Pat Gregoire, down with Mike Burke and Ryan Serville. Big smiles as they head off the field, and great game by these Guelph Gryphons. Kudos also to the Brock Badgers. Another tremendous effort. They've got to be disappointed in their second straight semifinal loss, but they left it all out on the field.
Oh, absolutely. The Brock Badgers, seeing Ryan Jones, goalie, using every inch of his body to make saves. They're willing to put everything on the line to win that game today. Just didn't come out their way.
What a game. Very exciting. They will advance to the Baggataway Cup Championship tomorrow at 1:30. And we just have something we're going to throw down to Pat Gregoire. I just want to thank you. I'm Stephen Stamp with Malcolm Westhaver for the rest of the JVI video crew. Thanks so much for being with us. We're going to go down to Pat Gregoire to close things out.
What a great first semifinals. The Guelph Gryphons defending Baggataway champions, coming out victorious once again, battling back. But you got to wonder, Brock Badgers, now this is 6 years or 5 years without winning a championship. You've really got to wonder what they're going to have to do to change coming up next year. But for Guelph, now they might be starting to build a dynasty. We'll see tomorrow. And make sure you stay tuned for our second game coming up at 3 o'clock. McGill against Western. That should be another great matchup. For JVI Productions, Pat Greger alongside Steven Stamp. We'll see you later.